record on this bad boy so that we can make sure and come back and watch all this goodness again. I'm here with my friend Jeff Quintin. Jeff, the other day I saw your Facebook post, The Power of Social Media. You said, hey, I just was with my team and we were talking about all these different ways that you could help, we could find sellers in today's market. And I think every single real estate agent probably has this issue going on right now. Like, how are we going to find more families to help and during this very low inventory? So let's let you take it away. Why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? Where are you? What do you do? And then let's dive into this topic today, because I know so many agents will get so much goodness from your time here.
Sure. No, thank you. It's an honor and pleasure to be here, Jenny. So as always, thank you so much. My name is Jeff Quintin. I live and work in Ocean City, New Jersey. Been in the real estate business since '92. So I've been doing this quite a bit of time, seen a few different shifts and ups and downs in the market. But one thing that I've always focused on is always about being listing focused, and our team prospects every day. Everybody always is listing focused, So we've had a good success of getting listings last year and this year in the first quarter, even in a market when people are struggling to get them. So the other day we just sat down and said, okay, well, we had a tremendous first quarter so far. What do we need to do in the spring selling season? How do we get more inventory? And let's just brainstorm it. So we were on our own weekly sales call, and then we had another team in our market center join us. And then we had maybe there's 12 of us or whatever total. And then we just started going around the room, and like we are now, and just say, okay, well, how do we get listings? And it started out originally, we were going to go to like 10 ideas, right?
Yeah.
And then, normally when you start out and you do this exercise and you start brainstorming, in the beginning, it's all the basic ones we all know. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's that. And then once you start getting to like out of 10, the number 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the ones at the end are usually the ones that get super creative. And that's the ones that mean the most. It's like, how creative can we get, out of the box thinking? That's where the gold is, because everyone knows we can all call, for sale by owners. Obviously, they're for sale by owner. They want to sell. They're telling us they want to sell, right? We all know those. We all know expired listings. They're listings that were previously on the market with an agent. They'll hire an agent, just the other one didn't do the job. Maybe we can do it for them. So we all know the basic ways to get listings. The key though is, how do we find, the other ones that most people aren't thinking of? So that's kind of what we dove into. And then, it was some silence on the call from times because no one could think of anything. And I would just, prod them along the way and say, well, you got to come up with something. Give me anything. And it was a mastermind that we came up with. It was like, there's no fire hosing at all. Like whatever they said didn't matter. We wrote it down. Somebody would be like, I was stupid, but whatever. But it doesn't matter. Nothing was like that, right? No fire hosing. Don't judge. Just let's brainstorm. And then we came up with basically, we started at 10, went to 20, then it was at 30, and then we got to 35. All right, let's go to 40. And then we're at 40. I'm like, all right, let's go to 50 while we're there. And that took us about an hour. And we just ended at 50. I'm sure we could have kept going.
So what do you think? I mean, you're an expert you've been in the business a long time. You've been through many different markets like I have. You've seen the ups and downs of buyers market, sellers market. You know how to prospect daily. You have great systems on your team, and you always have been listing and prospecting based. So what were some of the best ideas in our 30 minutes here today? Let's just really nail down some of the best ones that you were like, wow, that's great, and let's implement.
Yeah. So, there's a whole list. I'll just share a few that came up with that are basic, but also good ones. It's just being like, it's being smart about who is most likely to sell and where and how can I leverage others to get in front of those people, right? So like the first one we wrote down was owners who purchased in the years of 2004 to 2006. See, in our market, it may be different markets, but whenever that shift was for you in your market, some may have been 2008, whatever, like from 04, 05, and 06, our market really peaked out. So there's some and finally, believe it or not, like in the last, post-COVID, like this last year and a half or last year, we started to hit those peak numbers again. So all of those sellers, those owners who bought properties in 04 and 05, let's say they paid $800,000 for a property, right? Well, if they haven't sold it, they've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the market to come back so they could get out even at least. Well, right now it's now exceeded to those numbers. It got to those numbers and go further. So it's a great way to call those owners that and simply have conversations that, hey, did you know that right now the value of your home is X? I see you paid X. Right now you can actually get out even and or make money. I know you've been waiting for this for a long time. Would you consider getting out? Because some people just won't sell their home and take a loss, right? They just won't. And they're waiting. I'm not going to take a loss. I'm waiting for the market to come back. Well, in this case, it's been 14, 15 years, right? So looking at I'd say in any market, looking at what was the peak, and then calling those sellers at that peak, because right now it should be the peak again. Depends on your market, but it's a source right now to have a good conversation with about value. Second one right now is even in the same lines of this is owners who recently purchased in say the years of 18, 19, and 20. The values in our markets have gone up so much. In many markets, 25% in the last year or year and a half, right? Well, some of those sellers who may have paid 500, now they can almost get 700. They might want to sell and flip in the last 2 years. We were experiencing that, right? We see sellers that just bought, or even our own clients. Hey, you know what? I'll sell it. Sure. Put it on the market. Get me that profit. I'll rock and roll. Now, we have a good fortune in our market where I work is to be in a secondary resort market, right? So not all of it's primary homes. Some are primary homes, some aren't. But even in this case, go look at maybe the absentee owners in your market that aren't attached to those homes where they have to actually live in them. Or if they can make a certain profit, they can do a 1031 and another one. It's just being smart about that, about who to call. Rather than if we're going to prospect each day and just randomly calls, why don't we be specific to know who's most likely to sell or have those conversations to bring some good value, right? So those two, I think, were strong to look at. To get a little bit more, I guess, more creative, there's some ideas to think about here. We said, well, what would it be like if we actually got to know every postal person, right? Mailman, mailwoman in your community, in your communities and towns that you work. They all have their own territories. They're door knocking every day, are they not? They're prospecting every day, just in a different way. What if we had them as our database and we got with them and said, hey, look, Mr. and Mrs. Mailbox or mailman, you're going to be the first to know when someone's going to move, right? You're going to be the first to know when you see a for sale sign go on someone's yard. You're walking those neighborhoods every day, putting mail in their mailbox. The moment you have a for sale by owner that shows up or know of somebody, would you let me know? And for everyone, hey, tell me, where do you and your wife go to dinner? Here's a gift card, right? In fact, I'm going to give you one up front. Here's $50 to a certain restaurant down the road, okay? Whatever it may be. You know what they're going to do? And say, here's my cell phone number. Would you mind taking a picture and just texting me the address? Why not employ like the mailman, right? Or the FedEx guy or girl, or the UPS driver. A buddy of mine runs the UPS center. He runs the drivers. And I think he told me in like a 7, no, not even a 7. It's like in literally like a 1 mile radius, something crazy, like 1 2 mile radius. They have like 150 deliveries a day, right? They're stopping at 150 different addresses a day. Get to know these people. I thought this was a unique idea, right? We're not even thinking about.
I love that. I'll just add, like, what it popped into my mind is it's just getting creative and purposeful with who you're adding to your database.
Yeah.
The connectors, the people that are out in the field, in the areas where you like to serve anyway, and find people to help. That's great. I love that.
Yeah. They have the eyes on the street. You know what I mean? They know what's going on. Why not get in conversation with them, right? It's the same thing. There's another thing on here, and that's just a little bit different for some markets, but it was written down and it's in alignment to this a little bit. It's like, who are the gatekeepers? So if anybody on this call or watching, if you sell in a city where maybe there's high rises, almost every high rise or condominium association or any type of building, or even a gated community, if there's a gatekeeper there, to let you in, gosh, they know exactly what's going on. They know who's moving, who's coming in, what's going on. I mean, they're like a hairdresser, right? The hairdresser knows everything that's going on too. That's another thing, right? But like, what I'm trying to say is, go to the gatekeepers, find out who they are that know who's moving, who's doing whatever, right? Like if I was selling in New York City, and there's high rises everywhere, apartment buildings, I'd be going to the doorman every day. That'd be who I'd be prospecting. Hey, who do you know in here looking to buy? Who do you know looking to sell? We just listed this unit over here, right? Or whatever it may be. They are in touch with the people we need to get to. Okay. So that was another idea. Let's see. What we do a lot right now, and I don't know if you guys do much of this, but we do it, and it's very, very effective, is we do a lot of voice broadcasting. So, slide dialing, voice broadcasting, where we're able to record a message and then drop that message into voicemails of homeowners and do it and blast it out, whether that's 500 at a time or 1,000 at a time. If you do it and you create it with a very good creative message with a call to action, you're going to get back a lot of calls. Now you're going to get back people saying, remove me from your list, do not call, all that for sure, right? You got to be, but you're also going to get a lot of callbacks, and you're going to get a lot of people that are going to respond and say, I got your message. What do you think you can get for my home? As long as the message is creative.
So let's hear what that message sounds like.
So a message would be, there's a few different messages, but really simple is that, you would say something like, hi, this is Jeff from Keller Williams, the Quintin Group. We have a buyer that's recently just purchased, or we have a buyer who attempted to purchase a home in your neighborhood and didn't get it. They've identified your home as one they'd purchase. If you'd like to know how much they'd pay, call me back direct, and then put your number. Call me back at blah, 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 blah. Very simple and short. We have a buyer. They've lost out on another home. They've identified yours as one they would buy. If you'd like to know how much they would pay, call me.
So this is something I know everyone that's listening to this is thinking, oh gosh, do I really have to have a buyer? And what do I say if I really don't? And what's that script sound like when they call me?
Well, I guess, and I'm going to go with this and say, well, if the home was cheap enough, would you be the buyer?
If it's the right price, we should all be buyers, says Gary.
Right. So you are the buyer. Okay. So let's just think of it that way. The thing is right now in this market, if it was priced right, would you have a buyer? That's the question. Right. I mean, even if you don't have a buyer, could you find one? Most people today have a ton of buyers. Most people today have more buyers than sellers. So most of you have a database of buyers. Is it possible? Right. Certainly you can prospect, but if you're working with buyers, and almost everyone on this call, everyone listening has been involved this year in multiple offer situations, right? And didn't get it. We're not winning 100%, but there's been times you didn't get it. So then you have a buyer, start prospecting and do a voice broadcast in those communities or neighborhoods or wherever it may be for that specific buyer. Okay. But you're going to get calls back.
So let's share some tools that could help you. We use slide dial, slide broadcast. That's a tool. Is that what you use as well? Or is there something else we need to know about?
I use a company called Voice Logic
as
well. That handles all that for us. And then in addition to that, part of this, some systems, we also use Contact Junkie, and Contact Junkie allows us to upload list pre-recorded messages that are dropped along with text messaging and emails. So if you have an email and their mobile number, and then you can put campaigns together and you could drop that, in a sequence way of doing the voice. You can send a text right away, hey, I have a buyer looking in your neighborhood. Have you thought of selling, or what price makes you a seller? Whatever it may be, followed up with a voicemail, followed up with email, all in the same 2 seconds, right? It can all be done simultaneously. You can hit them in all different areas. So we use Contact Junkie as well, for that type of stuff.
So I know you're a big team. What do you think, what's your goal as a team, or let's say it even as a solo agent? What would be the goal per week to be sending out these kinds of messages? What would that look like?
I mean, we do this at a very high level. So we might have, at any moment in time, I can just look right here while I've got you here. As far as in our Contact Junkie account, it may not be running real lot right now, but there's 611 text messages going out at the moment, 106 emails, and 117 voicemails as we speak. And that's with 202 leads that have been put in. So there's a lot that's running just in that system. But as far as voice broadcast off of that, we might do 2 or 3 a week, each of them being at 500 to 1,000 homeowners every week. So we have a consistent amount of callbacks doing that. So that's the way that we're getting listings right now.
So let me ask this, kind of relating in this area is, are you basing the areas that you're choosing to call and email and broadcast to off of recently sold properties that you had, or are you just picking neighborhoods, plotting and picking?
It could be both. It could be both. I mean, we've built a big database of homeowners we've had through valuations and homeowners just in our database for years that we're doing. But it also could just be like we talked about, hey, you know, what would it look like if I was to go out and scrape and get every homeowner who purchased from 2004 to 2006, right? Each one of those years in a certain town or neighborhood or community, went and got their emails, went and got their sales. I would load that up and I would send a voice broadcast to them or have a text message sent to them, right? I just, you know, so it could be just a strategic list. And then your message should be towards that list specifically, you know, but these are just some ways that a lot of agents aren't probably doing, you know, so that's worked. You know, another thing here just to share is, you know, having a relationship with other agents, referral agents and top agents in your community to reciprocate their withdrawn and expired listings. Now, there's not a lot of listings expiring these days, right? But there still are. And sellers are there's always going to be. But what would it look like if you actually went out and had a good relationship with the top listing agents and said, hey, look, I know you list a lot of property, but there's times when you and your sellers may not get along and they want to cancel a withdrawal, or you're not going to be able to, you're going to have listings that are going to expire. Well, before they do, would I possibly be the agent you could share with me that contact information and refer me your client before it expires? And if I can get it listed and sold, I'll pay your referral fee. And by the way, anytime I get a listing that doesn't sell or withdraw and I'm not getting along with my seller and I'm going to lose it, I'm going to give it to you ahead of time, right? I'm going to endorse you, even say, hey, you know what? I know this isn't working out for us, but Jenny's a great agent. She may call you. Just be aware of that, you know, whatever. Have a reciprocate relationship to get listings from each other. Well, I have a couple agents I do that with.
That's smart. That's smart.
You know?
So are you, I'm hearing lots of ways to prospect. What kind of marketing are you doing? Any pieces of mail, the golden letter type things? What do you got going on there?
We don't really do much of that,
Just,
honestly.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what we're doing is what we're doing is more of the text messaging.
Probably more affordable that way.
It is much more profitable and it's direct and it's responsive, you know, is what we're doing. So we're not doing you know, and a lot of them are effective. Any mailers as far as postcards or a letter that's written out to the communities or whatever it may be, or on behalf of you, or whatever. No, we're not doing it specifically. No.
All right, let's hear some more of your goodness. Ready?
You know, one of the things that we've done is, and I want you to think about this. And a lot of people haven't done this, but we get listings from it. And again, this is just some ideas, but every one of our markets has one or two or three different for sale by owner companies, right? Where it's a flat fee company. And, you know, these homeowners today are selling their homes for sale by owner and they're selling. But what happens is they go to these flat fee companies, and the flat fee company in our area, at least one of them, they'll just put it in the MLS. That's all they do, right? Put it into the MLS. And then in the MLS, all the showing inquiries, any questions, they put the seller's information right in there. Email the seller at this email. Here's the seller's phone number. You just deal directly with the seller, right? Well, the flat fee company gets a flat fee. Let's call it, I don't know, whatever it is, $500. We've got a relationship with the flat fee company. We call the flat fee company and say, hey, look, same thing as they do with the other ones, is say, look, and a lot of the flat fee companies, there's listings, agents aren't showing them, right? They're just not. They're not quite, it's different. So a lot of them expire. And sometimes there's shorter term listings than what you and I would take as far as their agreement. So we call the for sale by owner company and we say, look, a lot of your listings expired, you know that. And would you give us, before they expire, will you give us your client list on the dates before they expire? And when we get them listed, we'll give you a 25% referral fee.
Whoa.
And we're like, yes, because they make more money on their listing expiring than they do on their flat fee.
Well, because yeah, like if they're already paid.
Yeah.
Like there's no incentive for them, but they don't care if it sells or not. Oh, wow.
They don't care at all. And in fact, they'd rather give you the expired and get paid a referral fee than actually having it sell.
Or having to relist it. I don't know how their agreements work. Do they get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a guy that we just, like every month, like he's like, yeah, here's the list. Here, these are coming up. So we jump start it. We call it.
I've never heard that one. You guys that are here with me, I see heads. We're all kind of like, what? That's a good one. Okay, I think that might need to go to the top of the list.
Well, it works, right? So then you call the sellers and say, hey, I see you're for sale by owner still, and it's in the MLS. I see you're cooperating with realtors. That's great, perfect. But I know your agreement's coming up. It's going to expire, on April 15th next week. Are you planning to interview an agent to actually go ahead and market your home the right way? Like, are you really going to do it this time? Sure. Why don't you come over, right? Or whatever, whatever their script's going to be. But it's just getting you into another source, right? It's a little more creative.
All right. Since I'm such a rule follower, I would say you guys make sure you're following all guidelines and you're not stepping on any toes if they are in a listing agreement. However, why couldn't that agent endorse you and make that introduction? Then you would be safe.
But they're also publishing it for you to call them anyway.
Right. That's true. And
they're for sale by owner. They're just using the MLS system. Right. I mean, if you go look at usually ours, at least, they still have a for sale by owner sign on their yard.
Very true. You could be driving through the neighborhood not realizing that they were listed on MLS, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a thought, right?
I like it.
So yeah, so that's just something a little different. We got into some other basic ones that third-party resources, right? If you guys aren't all in the third-party ones, the UpNest of the world, the Home Lights of the world, Effective Agents of the world, there are several companies. There's 20 probably out there now that you can register with, and they'll drive and give you listings. Now you have to pay for them, right? You're going to pay referral fees or whatever it may be, but we do get listings from these sources, but not all realtors are signed up with them, right? Approved with these companies. So third-party referrals, just a reminder of that.
So every time, I'll point this out and put an exclamation point on this. Every time I teach my class, we talk about this. There are so many out there that not everybody knows about. And I feel like there's enough, I'm all about abundance. And so, I think everybody should go sign up. So UpNest and what else do you got? Home Light.
Effective Agents, Agent Pronto.
Yeah, Referral Exchange. Yeah.
Yeah. All those, yeah. If you just Google, referral companies or whatever, third-party referral companies, they'll all come up.
Yeah, that's a great one. And then if you guys also want to look into the Dave Ramsey path, some people aren't interested. Now there is a monthly fee of like $350. But then also we found that the value of having these, although we pay a referral fee when we help them, we know we're going to love on our database so much that they're then going to share referrals and friends with us. So that's how we kind of justify the referral fee.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that's overlooked a lot as well is this other category that is in almost every one of our markets, at least in our market, the number one agent in our market is the agent that's not from our market combined. You ever see that? The non-member, right? So if you run all your stats in your market, and it'll say non-member comes up as the first eight, like non-member agents represent more sales than the actual top agent in the market. Okay. If you ever run it, you'll see that. Non-members, meaning members that are outside of your board that are always coming into your marketplace, selling your listings. And more than ever, this is happening, right? Their agents are driving further. They're not in your board. They're coming outside of different areas because they have a buyer and a cousin, whatever that they want to buy. So the non-member agents have more transactions than your number one top agent, right? Or a lot of them. Actually, they have more agents. They sell more homes than all the agents, okay? Which means that the non-member agent's client does not have a local realtor. So go back and you now scrape all the non-member transactions of everyone who just bought, and you start adapting them into your database. Go back to all the non-members, find those homeowners and say, hi, I'm Jenny. I know you bought from XYZ agent, that's in, Michigan, and he drove all the way over here, right? In Oklahoma to sell a house or whatever, right? So, I know you bought from that person, and I'm just curious, are you familiar with what's going on in the market now? Is anybody giving you an updated valuation? Right? Start to adapt them into your database, having conversations, because you know that other agent's not in touch with them. They're a non-member.
Okay, I love this so much. And you made me think this is really the same plan that you have for your orphan buyers anyway. So you already probably have an idea or a system for these people who don't have a local agent that's going to take care of them. But then also, Jeff, could you kind of go do the same idea with that we talked about before, where you go friend these agents, out of town agents, add them to your agent database, and then if they then share the value with them of I gladly pay you a referral fee instead of you driving over here next time.
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody should have their own, hit list of agents that are just on the outside of their area, right? Like we do, like where Beth is in Exton, we got a ton of agents outside of the Philadelphia marketplace that refer us down to the shore, right? So same thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, have your VIP referral agents for sure. So that was an idea, just to think a little bit differently on that database. One of the things that's out there right now that we've also done, and we're not doing it at a high level, but we've worked on it, but I think it's a great thing, is the Homes for Heroes offering, right? Whether it's, police, fire, healthcare, teachers, right, educators, and you start to prospect and get in front of large groups like that. So what would it be like if you, offered, the police department in your local city a rebate that any police officer that buys a home from you, you're going to give them 20% off, like a 20% referral fee, whatever it may be, that you normally would give an agent, but you're going to give that back as a kind of a rebate or a credit back or whatever it may be. But you then go meet with the chief of police and you say, hi, it's Jeff, and I, really want to be the go-to agent of the police department, right? I've got a program here that we're going to donate back to any agent that buys or any officer that buys from us, whatever it may be. And here's the flyer. And, certainly I offer free consultation if anyone wants to buy or sell their home right now, but we want to be that go-to agent that represents you, right? And your department. Would you endorse me that way and put this in front of everyone, right? But do that in front of the police, the fire, go to the mayor of the town, go to hospitals, whatever it may be. So think of something like that, how you can actually get in front of a very large group and have the HR department meet with them and then have them promote you.
Okay. I like that one. That's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of business to be done in that. Something a little different. We've done this before, not recently, but think about doing some type of trolley tour. A trolley tour, like you get a trolley that you rent, and you could brand it too, put a banner on the side, whatever you want to do. If you've got some branding, whatever, and you want to just do like a parade of homes or a luxury tour of all the existing homes, and you invite buyers and sellers to join you, and you simply just have a seller seminar, but on a trolley tour, and go visit all the luxury listings in the market.
And they're captured. You have their 100% attention.
They can't get off the bus, right? But literally, you can go rent one for a couple $100. You know what I mean? Get a driver. You get on the microphone in front of the trolley and say, okay, we're going to go visit 5 of the most expensive homes available in the market today. And meanwhile, we're going to sign up about it, and do a seller seminar tour or buyer seminar tour. Do both, whatever it may be. Right?
I love that. Have you done any virtual seminars over this last year?
We did, yeah. We've done a couple of seller seminars. That's another one, just virtual by Zoom. In fact, what is today? Wednesday.
Today's Friday, but that's all right.
Yeah, but But last one, yes, but on Wednesday, 2 days ago.
Okay.
One of the sellers that attended that about 6 months ago finally invited us over to come look at their home, and they're ready to put it on the market. So it's coincidental that we just one of the ones that attended it are ready now, and it's like it's going to be like 1.4, like 1,399 lists or something like that.
So I think
So
the point there is just like all things, sometimes you're just building a relationship, you're adding to your database, and then they're in the future and the fortune is in the follow up. So they weren't right that minute business, but it was worth how long was your virtual seminar? Half an hour, an hour?
yeah, about an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a pretty good return on your time.
For sure. And I got another listing out of that, people that, and we've already sold it, actually two of them, their daughters and their house. And one was 1.9 and 625 and sold for the other house from the attendance of that. I think we only had on that last one, maybe had six homeowners. But I'll tell you, when you do them, the 6 that show up or the ones that show up, some are serious and some aren't. But the ones that do, they're like, that's like they're done. Like you get them as a client, you're gonna win their listing. You're gonna get it. So the seller seminars are good.
I think that's such a great return on our time, and there's so much opportunity if it does work out like you've just demonstrated. And I think agents probably overthink what they're going to say and how they're going to say it, and stress out about that. Anything you share, was it like mind-blowing, revolutionary whenever you had them on Zoom?
It wasn't crazy. No, I just walked them through market statistics, right?
Like here's
what's
market,
going on,
here's what's going on.
And what I actually did was I shared my screen and did a market analysis on like 2 or 3 of their homes with them on the screen and showed them, let me just walk you through and show you how we as realtors identify and we can give you evaluation, like how we're going to evaluate your home. So let's walk through together. I'll run you the comps in the MLS. Like I shared my screen with them right then and said, just so you know, you can see there's one house right now available, within your criteria. There's no inventory. You're thinking of selling, this is what you could get, right? Or here's what you possibly could get even more than that, right? So we actually did that, walked them through, but everything from market statistics, seller's net sheet, walk them through plugging in the numbers. If you sold for this, let me show you all the things in the state of New Jersey, what you have to pay for and how it works. Explained all of it to them. Just a regular seminar to get them, value and what they need to know.
And those sellers may be overcomplicating it. So you just walking them through, they are able to see, oh, well, I can totally do this. And now maybe it's the best time for me. So,
yeah.
All right. Will you have any final thoughts or words? Will you share your whole email with me? And I can share this in the group.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple other really good ones that are in here. I mean, just take a look at it. I mean, one last one I'll go, I think it's kind of cool, different is, and I've heard this before, some do, some don't, but I mean, we've done it, is doing open houses for sale by owners. Yeah. So you call them up and you actually host an open house for them, where you actually promote the property and invite your database, invite people to it and get people there and show them that you can do. And we all know for sale by owners, most cases will end up listing with an agent, and we've gotten listings from that, by just being a little more aggressive, with that. But I think, the thing is, it's getting outside of your box. It's thinking, okay, how do I, who can we leverage? How can I get to those that are most likely going to sell? And then I like a lot of this list because I like doing it in the bulk way, right? Like if I'm going to call right now, get listings, why am I, I want to make sure I'm in touch with every developer in town, every developer that has inventory. Right? Because some of them are buying properties off market and they don't have a realtor yet. Maybe have brought it to them. Right? So developers, investors, having an investor list. Go scrape your investor list. Go out there right now and find the list of everyone who owns multiple properties. And these are the ways you can do it, right? Because if they own multiples, they may be interested in selling 1 or 2 right now, or 3 or 4, wherever it may be. So you should have a list of, here's my investor list. This is people that own 100 units all the way down to 2. Okay. So there's different things like that. So.
And I just want to add to keep people from going into overwhelm. Jeff just shared so many great ideas. So let's pick one at a time. Let's create a plan around it, put it on your calendar, go for it. If it works, tweak it if it doesn't, or ditch it and move on to something else. I think that the idea of masterminding like this is so valuable, and not all these may be for you. And right. I mean, Jeff, would you kind of share that for your final words? What advice would you give those who may watch this later?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think that, some of them take a little preparation in getting them done, but there's also some that are really simple and can be easy. Just take one and go execute on it and try it out, see what happens. And that might be that, you know what, if you're home today or tomorrow, you know, do you really know your mail person, right? Are they just come every day, put mail in the mailbox, and then they rock and roll and never see them? But introduce yourself, right? That would be a simple way, you know, get in relationship with them. They know what's going on, I'll tell you, right? Something simple. So just start out with one thing and execute it, whatever it may be.
So you're telling me this whole real estate thing is a relationship business?
I think so, just a little bit.
Well, I've had so much fun chatting with you. Tell everybody where you are in case they need to share referrals with you.
For sure. That's I live and work in Ocean City, New Jersey. So it's southern New Jersey. We cover all of basically the bottom part and the community of beach towns, basically of Jersey. And easiest way, all, you know, social media at Jeff Quintin. You can email me, jeff@thequintingroup.com as well. And then I'll be sure to get this list over to you if you want to post it out there or whatever. Or you guys, again, you can email me and I'll reply back to you with this too. So jeff@thequintingroup.com.
And spell your last name.
Sure. Quintin. Quintin.
Quintin. All right, you guys have a fabulous Friday. I'm so happy to see your smiling faces, and go have a great weekend and find some sellers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys. See you later.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.